Haku here with something a little bit on the different side, I guess it kind of compared to usual, but I did it last year, and that's the Haku Anime Awards 2018. Now, in the future, I would like to add a little bit more production quality to these, maybe some clips about what I'm talking about as I'm going through them, but for right now, I'm working with what I've got to work with. So either way, last year I did 7 categories to give awards to, and this year I'm also doing 7 plus the Spirit Award, so kind of technically 8. Because one category from last year wasn't really that good to bring back again, I replaced it with 2 others. So this is going to be fun. The way I'm going to do it, for each award, I'm going to say who won last year, then I'm going to give 4 options that I gave myself, 4 nominees that I thought were the best for the category, and explain why I thought they were the best, and then I'll announce which one I finally went with as the winner. So this is a good thing for all of you who are interested to kind of get suggestions from me on what I thought were the best shows of 2018 to go back and watch, particularly with the Anime of the Year category. Because with the Anime of the Year category, instead of going for 4 like with all the other categories I went for 8. That way there's like 8 that I think are the best that I'd totally recommend. So yeah, let's get through this intro and actually get into talking about the actual awards. So I'm going to start it off with the Comedy of the Year, the same thing that I started off with last year. And last year the winner was Gabriel Dropout. It was something that I found myself throughout the entire year going back to look at funny clips of. And this year my 4 nominees for that would be Asobi Asobase. Really hilarious nonsense comedy, really endearing and fun characters. Everything about it was so enjoyable. It was amazing. The only qualm I have with it is I feel like maybe the last episode or 2 really weren't that great. I feel like it was so good throughout the entire series, and then the last episode or 2 really weren't as funny to me. Next up would be Zombieland Saga. To me, it's one of the funniest anime the entire year, but it kind of differs from Asobi Asobase in that it does take time away from the comedy to also focus on character development and telling a story over the course of the season. So again, great comedy, different type of comedy. Third would be Mitsuboshi Colors. Once again, a different kind of comedy from the other 2. It's a nice slice-of-life episodic comedy, and one thing that I particularly loved about it is that it was centered around kid characters, but they weren't kid characters that acted like, I don't know, fictionalized kids acting like adults, you know. They acted like actual kids, and it felt very different than other comedies I had seen, and it was really funny because of it, because you got to see all these weird situations from these kids' point of view, almost like, I don't want to say like Rugrats in that manner, because there was more sort of imagination portrayed as real in that, but Mitsuboshi Colors did a good job at portraying things through the kids' eyes and kind of the adults laughing it off and stuff, and it was done really well. And the 4th nominee would be Last Period, Owarinaki Rasen no Monogatari. I really loved Last Period. It was probably my favorite shows for the entire year. I feel like during that season, the spring season for me, I didn't watch as much anime in spring season as I did the other seasons this year, but Last Period was a show that I had to watch every single week when it came out. I loved it. I thought it was so funny, and it was just such a creative parody of the whole based on a game gacha system and shonen-ish adventure kind of genres. So it did an amazing job at its parodies. It parodied a lot of other popular anime franchises really well. So yeah, I thought Last Period was great overall. But the winner for all of these for best comedy, I'm giving to Asobi Asobase, because it was just simply really funny all the time, non-stop, just wacky off-the-wall humor, and the voice acting was incredible, especially for Hanako. Her voice actress did such an amazing job as a comedy voice actress. So yeah, I'm giving it to Asobi Asobase because of all of that. The next category I'm going to go into is Relationship of the Year. Now this doesn't have to be a romantic thing. In fact, last year the winner was Little Witch Academia for Akko and Ursula's teacher-student relationship. So this is just what I thought what show had the best development and portrayal of a relationship between two different characters. And the first of my 4 nominees for it would be Yukawa Juri and her grandfather from Kokoku. It was interesting to see a grandfather-granddaughter relationship this well developed because, I mean, seems kind of different from your typical anime thing. But the two of them were kind of the main characters throughout Kokoku's run, and the way that the two of them worked together and played off each other was amazing, and I was really endeared to their relationship. The second nominee would be Midoriya Izuku and Bakugo Katsuki from Boku no Hero Academia 3rd season. Last year, one of the nominees was actually Izuku and All Might for their teacher-student relationship, but I feel like, particularly this season, there was a lot of stuff that went down between Izuku and Bakugo's characters, and I think that it was really good how their characters and their relationship wasn't really straightforward. There was a lot going on there in a lot of different topics and aspects, a lot of good and a lot of bad between them. So I thought that they actually had a really developed and complex relationship. Third, I would give to Koito Yu and Nanami Toko from Yagate Kimi ni Naru. This is an actual, somewhat, kind of romantic one. I'm not really sure how to describe it, if describing it as romantic is the best descriptor, but it was certainly the most deep and complex, I think, of the relationships that I've seen this year, because pretty much the entire show was just based on how their relationship developed, and every moment drew you in. The body language was super important, the wording they used was super important, and Yagate Kimi ni Naru just did an amazing job developing this relationship, and doing so in a way that I give it extra credit for doing it in a way that I haven't seen done before. I haven't seen a relationship done without a lot of the common tropes you see in romance, specifically anime romance, and specifically shoujo ai. So I thought it was really, really good that they did something completely novel to me. And the fourth nominee I'd give to Amano Akari and Sophie Twilight from Tonari no Kyuuketsuki-san. I really liked their relationship. It was really fun how they both kind of made each other's lives better. But in addition to both bringing each other out of their shells and helping shells and making each other's lives better, there was always this hint of sadness while watching, knowing that eventually Akari will grow up and age while Sophie will remain immortal and ageless. So again, there's this hint of sadness, but there's also them enjoying their time together while they have that time together. So I thought that that was a really, really cool relationship. And the winner from these 4, I'm giving to Yagate Kimi ni Naru for Koito Yu and Nanami Toko, because I just think that their relationship was the most developed and the most kind of new to me. It was done extremely well and in a way that I hadn't seen before. So kind of both categories for something being good were hit very, very well. Next up, we had Fight of the Year last time, but this year the only thing that really had fights that I would say were worth putting here is maybe Boku no Hero Academia, who won it last year for the Izuku and Todoroki fight. So I got rid of the fight category and replaced it with Opening of the Year and Ending of the Year. So let's start with Opening of the Year, and these two were actually kind of hard to come up with nominees for. So Opening of the Year, I'll give an honorable mention to Yagate Kimi ni Naru's Kimi ni Furete, because it had a lot of really good symbolism, and again, it kind of went along with the show where you pay attention to everything because everything seems kind of important. But in the end, I had 4 that kind of I personally liked a lot more. So, the first of the nominees, Black Clover Opening 3, Black Rover. Say what you will about Black Clover as a show. To me, I think it's pretty alright. I don't think it's as bad as a lot of people make it out to be. It's pretty alright, not the best, but the openings are always incredible. Every single time the opening is incredible. And above all of them, Black Rover Opening 3 was my favorite one. In fact, I think this is probably one of my favorite openings ever from any show. So next up, Mitsuboshi Colors Opening, Colors Power ni Omakasero. I really, really liked this one. Again, it fit the show very well with the imagination and showing how the kids thought of themselves as heroes and everything. But in addition, the song was super catchy. I was drawn in every time. I felt it every time. For some reason, it kind of gave me the feels. But I absolutely loved Mitsubishi Colors' opening. The third nominee is Kokoku's opening, Flashback. Incredible. It hit so hard. It was so good. It's probably my favorite song out of all these, possibly. I love Flashback so much, and so much of the animation was creative. It stands out among anime openings. It's creative, it's different. One particular sequence is when the hands of different colors are all going into each other. It's so good. I love Kokoku's opening. And the last one, I'm giving the nominee to Boku no Hero Academia, third season's opening one, Odd Future. So good once again. A lot of people didn't like this opening for whatever reason, but again, I felt that it was both hype and good, and yet it was different from other shonen openings. It was kind of unique for a shonen opening. I thought the song was very good. Overworld tends to do this kind of experimental stuff that I usually really like when it comes to openings. So yeah, I loved it. But the winner out of all four of these, I don't know how obvious I made it, but I'm giving it to Black Clover Opening 3. Their openings are always amazing, and I think Black Clover Opening 3 is one of my favorites of all time. The show, I think, is okay, but Opening 3 is absolutely incredible and totally deserves the win. And now for Ending of the Year. Ending of the Year, I'd give honorable mentions to Black Clover's openings 3 through 5. Endings 3 through 5. I didn't really like Ending 2 that much, but again, like with the openings, the endings are incredible every single time. And sometimes the production quality of the actual show doesn't even look that great in my opinion, so it's crazy that the openings and endings are so insane every time. But to get to the actual nominees, first up is Golden Kamui's ending, Hibana. This one, I almost put Golden Kamui's opening for one of the nominees in the last category, but the others just happened to be better, even though I really liked Golden Kamui's. But I like the ending more than I like the opening. The ending was so catchy, the song was so good, the visuals were really creative, and I kind of like when endings give us some decent visuals, and I feel like this one did that. But even more than the visuals, I thought the song was just so good. So that's my first nominee, and my second one is Kokoku's ending. Just like the opening, the ending was very good. I feel like the ending was less out there, though, and more of a normal ending, but there was a lot of good artistic stuff. I love the frozen time stuff with the characters still moving here and there. That was all really good, like with the frozen, or the raindrops stopped in time. I think there were flames stopped in time. And just seeing the characters in kind of different outfits than we get to see them in the actual show. Because, spoiler, the entire show takes place in one moment, pretty much. You can kind of get that by the title. So, yeah, seeing them in different looks that we don't get to see them in the actual show was cool too. So I really loved Kokoku's ending. Third, Hisune to Maso-tan's ending. And the title is Le Temps de la Rentrée, I think. I don't know how to pronounce French things. But, yeah, it's a classic, what is it, France Gall? That's not the name of the person who sung the original. But it's a remake of a very classic old song from the 60s. And the dancing and animation is just so addictive. I love it. For some reason, I love just these really catchy dance endings a lot of the time, too, though. So, very much hit my biases perfectly, and I loved it. And the fourth nominee, Yuru Camp's ending, Fuyu Biyori. The animation for it, absolutely beautiful. Mind-blowingly good-looking animation for this ending. And the song is just soft and calm and beautiful. The singer is absolutely amazing. So yeah, I loved it, and I'm giving it the win. The winner is Yuru Camp's ending. Everything about it, from the song to the animation, was just really beautiful. So even if you don't watch the show, or haven't watched the show, go look up the ending now. It's really something. Next up, an interesting category. This one is Studio of the Year. Last year I gave the win to Mappa because Mappa killed it last year. But this year, there are a lot of really, really good options. And I'm actually going to throw in an honorable mention for this category too. Believe it or not, as much crap as I've talked about them, I would say Toei. Toei with this arc of One Piece has done a really, really good job of making it look good. And this is something that they run on kind of a strict timetable for, doing something weekly for basically forever, and still having it be good quality for the year of 2018. Toei did a good job with that. Plus they were putting out specials and movies. They had new shows like Gekigei no Kitaro that I liked. So Toei actually had a pretty good year. So I'm giving him an honorable mention, though I don't think they're in the top 4. So, my actual nominees, starting off with Geno Studio. This was Geno Studio's first year making actual television anime. And for their first year, they made Kokoku, which was one of my favorite shows for the year and has actually got a ton of nominations. But they also made Golden Kamuy, which became a huge hit, both the first and second season. There were some criticisms, but it's mostly been really well received, mostly because the manga's been extremely well received. But for it to be their first year, and to have Kokoku, which did well and was good, and to have Golden Kamuy, which was incredibly well received and really popular in their first year, you can't deny that Geno Studio had a really amazing rookie year for this. Next up is Bones. Comes kind of obvious. They put in a lot of work to make Boku no Hero Academia Season 3 really great. They had Hisoneto Maso-tan, which I thought was really original and creative looking, and it looked like an old cartoon movie in its style, which really played to me. And they also did a bunch of specials for their other popular series that they have rights to, and in addition to that had the Boku no Hero Academia movie. So Bones was really busy with a lot of really good things. Next up, third nominee is going to be Mappa. They won last year and again this year. I think they've solidified themselves as my favorite studio possibly. Last year they did Garo Vanishing Line, or at least started it. They did, what was it, Shingeki no Bahamut Virgin Soul, which was one of my favorite shows last year. They were just really on fire last year, which is why I gave them the win. And then again this year they finished Garo Vanishing Line. They had Banana Fish, which was a huge hit, even though I haven't seen it yet, but everybody I know that's seen it absolutely loved it. And they had Zombieland Saga, which again was a big hit, and everyone's basically loved it that I've seen, including myself. And then my fourth nominee, I'm going to give it to Lerche, because they made Asobi Asabase, which I think is incredibly unique and different and really great. And the same goes for Hakume Tomikuchi, that they also made. It was very unique, it was very different, and it was very good in my opinion. And they ended out the year by starting off Radiant, which I personally like. It's your typical shonen, but I like it. And they have a typical shonen that they're doing, which is, I don't want to say kind of different, but it is kind of different. So yeah, I liked all of what Lerche did. So all 4 of these were absolutely incredible studios this year, and any of them could arguably deserve the win, but I'm going to give it to the Dark Horse. I'm going to give it, well, not technically Dark Horse the studio, but I'm going to give it to Geno Studio, because I think it was a really, really cool thing to see, being someone who reviewed and watched Kokoku and being like, okay, this is their first project, but I'm really liking it, it's really good. And to see them go on from that to Golden Kamuy, which was really successful, and see them actually build some good success for themselves, I really think Geno Studio had an amazing rookie year, and I'm giving them Studio of the Year because of that. Now next, probably, or possibly, my favorite category actually, and that's going to be Episode of the Year. Last year this was probably my favorite one to research and think about and take notes on, and I think this year again it's got that way for me. So last year Made in Abyss's finale won. Made in Abyss's finale had me bawling. It was incredible. It was so good and so powerful, and a lot of the other nominees last year were really, really great too. So this year I couldn't decide on just 4, so I had to go to 5, and each of these 5 were things that were really emotional and powerful to me. Not only really good, but made me feel a lot. And you know, with TV shows and movies and stuff, I'm a total emotional butterfly with those kind of things. But yeah, my first nominee of the 5 for episode of the year is The 12th Moment. Again, Kokoku racking up the nominations. The 12th Moment told a really, and I'm going to stay spoiler free for these, but I'm going to say you should definitely go watch them. It was the finale of Kokoku, and it told this really amazing story with Juri and what her character was doing. And it was somewhat self-sacrificial, but it ended up having an ending I was really, really satisfied with. And it made me fall in love with Juri as a main character as if I didn't already love her as a main character. Second nominee, I'm going to give to My Hero from Boku no Hero Academia's 3rd season. The 3rd season had a lot of good episodes. I think episode 11 or 12 was incredible, as well as one of the ones near the end, the fight near the end that's kind of obvious, that I loved. But My Hero to me was really well established as an episode, and the most emotional to me personally. I think the animation was the most beautiful. Everything came together in it and wrapped up perfectly to make a really great standalone episode, but it also had a lot of things that really made the arc better too. So My Hero was just an amazing episode. Third nominee, Go Go Neverland Saga. I watched this episode many times and cried each time. From Zombieland Saga, I should mention. This is actually, rather than a finale, just like My Hero, it's something that is in the middle of the season. This is more towards the end, where that's more toward the beginning, but still. This is a mid-season episode. It told us Lily's backstory, which was beautiful, it was unique, it was really well done. It had hints that went back through all the previous episodes, and it was just so good. It was a beautiful sort of father-daughter tale, and I thought that it was amazing the way it was done. Now, for the 4th nominee, I'm going to give to a penultimate episode, actually, and that's A Place Further Than the Universe, episode 12 of Sorayori Motohi Basho, or A Place Further Than the Universe. I thought this was better than the finale episode. This one had me bawling. It's beautiful. It's probably this, or I think the episode before it is Beat the Drum Can or something like that, which I also loved. This is probably the strongest episode to me personally. We finally get kind of, not really a conclusion, but we get the heartbreaking first part of the conclusion of the story of one of the main characters and her mother. And I think it was done incredibly well. It was so sad, so beautiful. I loved every bit of it. And actually, the 5th nominee for this, I'm going to give to, kind of again, a Dark Horse candidate, My Maid Now and Forever, the finale of Uchi no Maid ga Uzasugiru. Like or not like how well lolly stuff is done in different anime, but the finale to this was an incredible episode. It gave lots of speaking lines to Midorine, one of my favorite characters, but what made it really great was that it delved a lot into really good psychology stuff, into the psychology of a child losing a parent, into the psychology of grief, of survivor's guilt. It was really beautiful and written in a way that, studying the effects of things like grief or survivor's guilt, it was done in a really realistic and believable way. So it was an episode of a comedy that did a really good job on really serious subjects, and it did them well. Nothing felt, I don't know how to put this. Yeah, I really don't know how to put what I'm trying to say here. Nothing felt cheesy or exploitative or anything. It just felt like it really understood the topic it was going for, and it did the topic well. But my winner out of those 5, all 5 are amazing. Watch them. I'm going to give the winner to Go Go Neverland Saga from Zombieland Saga. It was beautiful. It made me cry every time I watched it, and I watched it multiple times. It kind of made Lily my favorite character. Yamada Tai, still amazing. Saki, still amazing. But I think it made Lily my favorite character. And again, it was something that was very unique, very different. and it had a lot of things that made sense and had little hints throughout the series, lots of symbolism and small things. I thought it was incredible in every way. So yeah, from there, before we get into the final category, I'm going to give my Spirit Award, which was an award I kind of pulled out of my ass last year just to give something to Kimono Friends, to commend it for its success in taking something that nobody believed in. The game was already shut down, they had no budget or anything, but Tatsuki and Studio Yaoyorozu turned it into a hit through kind of partially the internet getting a hold of it, but in addition to that, through just putting artistic vision to something that didn't have much money behind it. So the Spirit Award this year goes not to a success, but to a failure, and it goes to Mark and Madhen. But either way, I actually liked Mark and Madhen, so it's a shame what happened to it. It had a good concept. I was expecting it to be amazing, but it struggled with production issues from the beginning, and of course had the one horribly destroyed episode with lines spoken by characters that weren't even the right characters mouthing the line. It was really rough, and it went through a lot of production hell. But I want to give this award to kind of commend the people that worked really hard to make it work, to make something happen despite all the production problems, the people who still put their hard work and effort into doing something. Because sometimes, even when you try really hard, sometimes things just don't work out. So I thought Marhen Maiden, I actually really empathized with it a lot. So yeah, I like it a lot because of that reason, because I think that the people worked hard, and sometimes when you work hard, things still just don't work out because production problems screw you over again and again and again. So yeah, Spirit Award goes to Marhen Maden, and now it's time for the final category, Anime of the Year. So my 8 nominees for 2017, to show how good the anime was back then, my top 8 were Princess Principal, Kimono Friends, Kobayashi-san Chi no Maid Dragon, Little Witch Academia, which went on to win one of my favorite shows ever, Hoseki no Kuni, Boku no Hero Academia 2nd season, Shingeki no Bahamut, Virgin Soul, and Shoujo Shumatsu Ryoko. So 8 really high quality ones. And in general, for anime, I thought that 2017 had amazing shows, multiple amazing shows every single season. And to compare that to 2018 had a few amazing shows throughout the year and a lot of kind of alright shows. So it was different. But those few really good shows, I think, are good. And I think that for me personally, it may just be a lot of my perception of some of the shows. But yeah, I don't know. I just didn't see a lot of 2018 as quite as good. But especially toward the end of the year, and I guess at the very beginning, there were some incredible shows. So my 8 nominees for Anime of the Year are Zombieland Saga. Again, I talked about it a bit before. It was a great show, great comedy that took time to develop story and characters. Second, Asobi Asobase, because it was a great comedy that was funny every single time. The style and everything looked incredibly unique. My only complaint would be that toward the end, the last few episodes weren't as funny to me. Third, Soriyori Motoi Basho, an incredible story, told beautifully, had really amazing production quality. Everything screamed amazing Madhouse anime. And it's a really good series that I've rewatched maybe once or twice since I first saw it. So yeah, very good. Fourth nominee, Yagate Kimi ni Naru, an amazing shoujo ai, which I already love. Shoujo ai sort of romance. It was really well developed. It didn't rely on any of the tropes I had seen before and did really unique things. One thing I loved about it, though, the direction was insane. The direction felt like Oscar bait classic, and it made it feel important. It made it feel like, and a lot of the attention they paid to what the characters were saying or what they did with their body language was so good that it felt like you had to pay attention to every single shot, every single word, every single movement a character made. Everything when watching Yagate Kimi ni Naru felt very, very important, and that's what I loved about it more than anything, is that I was completely zoned in, enthralled to every single moment. Fifth nominee, Mitsuboshi Colors. I thought it was an amazing comedy, mostly because, like I said earlier, it did this thing with having kid characters that talked and acted like actual kids do. It felt unique, it felt different, and it was actually really good. It kind of takes you back to your childhood watching it. The sixth nominee, sixth, Last Period, Owari Naki Rasen no Monogatari. This is a really dark horse pick that got really low scores from a lot of people. I think because people maybe went into it thinking it was serious and not really getting that it was a parody of the sort of shonen, adventure, and video game type genres. And it was done incredibly well. It's rare to see a parody that I think is also a really good and enjoyable show just on its own, and this is that. I loved watching it. Like I said, in spring, where I dropped most every show that I was watching, I still stuck with this every single week because I loved watching it when it came out every single week. The seventh nominee, I'm giving Kokoku. I talked about it a lot, nominated it for a lot, but it was something that was really unique and enjoyable. Like I said from the title, basically everything happens just in one moment, which is an incredibly sort of creative thing. But in addition to that, the characters were enjoyable. It told a really, really good story. And when it comes to comparing it to other shows I saw throughout the year, it's just simply one of the best. And it's from a studio who it's their first TV anime, which to me is incredible, to do that well on your first. And then lastly, the eighth nominee is for Boku no Hero Academia's third season. Toward the middle, toward that one arc, I don't know how I felt about it so much. But other than that, other than a bit of a misstep, it was just one of the best, one of the most popular anime to air the entire year, and had some of the best storylines and episodes. So yeah, there's that. It just deserves a spot in the top 8. And out of all of those, it's kind of hard to just say, oh, this one is objectively the best, the winner. But for the winner, I'm giving it to Yagate Kimi ni Naru, or Bloomin' to You, because it was beautifully directed. Everything about the production quality was amazing, and every single little thing that happened felt so important. So, yeah, winner, Bloomin' to You, Yagate Kimi ni Naru. It was absolutely amazing. Also, don't remember if I mentioned, I think I did, last year the winner was Little Witch Academia. So yeah, Yagate Kimi ni Naru. 2018's Anime of the Year for me. So right before I end the video, I hope you enjoyed it by the way, I'll go back through the winners really quickly. Comedy of the Year was Asobi Asobase. Relationship of the Year was Yagate Kimi ni Naru for Koito Yu and Nanami Toko. The winner for Opening of the Year was Black Clover for their third opening, Black Rover. And the winner for Ending of the Year was Yuru Camp for Fuyu Biori. The Studio of the Year was Geno Studio, who had an amazing rookie year. The Episode of the Year, I would say watch all those nominations, or nominees or whatever, but Go-Go Neverland Saga was amazing. It's my absolute favorite, and this is probably my favorite category actually. The Spirit Award's going to Marhen Maiden, though it kind of failed in the end. I thought it was beautiful and loved it personally. And Anime of the Year, Yagate Kimi ni Naru, absolutely incredible. So yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to do it again next year, and hopefully it'll be even better production quality wise next year. But that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Like if you did like the video, comment down there too. Tell me what you thought of my choices for all these categories, what you would have said won, or any changes you'd maybe like to see to the formula for next year. This video went on a bit longer than last year's because I discussed a bit more, but I felt like the discussion part was important. But yeah, comment with any suggestions or what you would have had win all of these. What were your favorites? Some things you maybe want me to watch. Subscribe for more anime, manga, light novels, tons of things on the channel. Follow on Twitter if you want. I can try to keep you updated there, stuff for the channel, or talk to you there. And if you want a link to our Discord server to talk to me or more of us on Discord about anything, then just ask and I can give you a link. It's free and open for anyone. That's it. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.